Hey guys, it's noname 4505 here for another late night quiet narration. You know what I always seem to do, and today we've got an OU match with my new OU team that was originally centered around Soldu Latio since Soldu was released, but on PO it was immediately banned to Ubers, and rightfully so. So I replaced Soldu for Expert Built. So that's what I'm going to do, and on my team here I've got standard Tyranitar, standard choice Scarf Rotom-Wash, as I said, Expert Belt Tyranitar, Stallbreaker Mew, choice Band Technician Breloom because I haven't tried it out yet, and I figured I would check it out, and Mamoswine because with the threats from the 3 new Genie forms and such, Mamoswine I think is going to become a staple on a lot of OU teams because it checks a lot of very potent threats. Like, as I mentioned, the 3 Genies, and, threatening Dragon types. So, yeah, Mamoswine definitely an option to consider in OU, definitely. On my opponent's team, I don't really see any threats, so I think pretty soon we're gonna get started with the battle here. Not too sure when we will, but, we will eventually, but his team just looks like a pretty standard rain team. Like I said, not too many threats. Latios, I can check with my own Latios, unless he's choice scarfed. Then I'd be screwed. Tornadus, I could check with Mamoswine. I can also check his Latios if it is choice scarfed with my Mamoswine. And now the battle's gonna start. So so I'm gonna lead off with my choice scarfed Rotom-Wash, figuring that he would lead off with either his Latios, his Politoed, or his Tornadus Therian form, and it turns out to lead with his Tornadus Therian form. So I can just go right for the Volt Switch. As he's going to go for the U-turn, I guess predicting my Tyranitar switch. It doesn't do that much, but, it's a decent hit. Now I'm going to switch out to my Mew, figuring that, he's probably going to want to go for the Spore, or the Swords Dance, or the Attack. Just something that my Mew can handle, but he actually goes for the Substitute. Because he's a Sub-Technician set with leftovers, which is a little bit funky, but it works for him, so, it's alright. So I've got my Mew here who's taking those Bullet Seeds, and those Bullet Seeds did a fuck ton. And now I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp here, trying to cripple him, hoping that he only gets 2 Bullet Seeds. So I can take them from a burnt Breloom, and then I can soft boil up. But he switches out to his Jirachi, and that's good too to get that burned. So I'm gonna switch to my Tyranitar, figuring that he's most likely a special set since it's on a rain team. And if it turns out to be a physical set, then Tyranitar is a fairly good switching just because he is burned. So his Iron Heads aren't really doing very much to me. Even though he can do Paraflinch and stuff, it's not going to be that big of a deal. So anyways, now I'm going to switch out to my Latios because I do carry the HP Fire, and I am Expert Belted, so it's going to be doing a nice chunk. And he switches back to his Jirachi, and I do go for the HP Fire. So it's all good, so now I'm just going to go out to his Politoed, and I'm just going to keep going for the HP Fire, not wanting to overpredict yet. So that's what I'm going to keep doing, so I'm going to switch because I really can't do anything to this Politoed because I don't think a Draco Meteor can OHKO from full health. So I figure I'm going to switch to my Mew just to sack it because it's not really at a good enough health to where it can check the Breloom, and I still have my Mamoswine at full health, so that can keep that Breloom intact, or in line, is what I'm trying to say. So, I go out to my Mew who actually goes for Toxic, and getting Toxic on that Politoed, especially since he's a bulky one, is good, and we're missing a little bit of it, but, oh well. So I'm back in here to Rotom-Wash, and I'm just going to go right for the Safe Volt Switch, as he goes into his Jirachi, and I'm going to go out to my Tyranitar to get my Sand back up, and now this thing is almost dead. So he's going to go for the Wish. I'm just going to go for my Stealth Rocks this turn because I do know that he's going to die for the burn, so if he sets up a Wish, then that's good for my Tyranitar. I get my Rocks up. And if he decides just to go for the Iron Head, then, that'll mean that whatever comes in next won't get the Wish. So this is going to go into his Breloom, and I'm going to pretty much decide to sack my Tyranitar. Sorta, kinda, not really. Like, I just left my Tyranitar in there pretty much because I don't want him getting up a substitute with the Wish. So, if he decides to go for the substitute, then I can break it with Ice Beam, If he decides not to go for substitute and attacks me and kills me, then that's fine. Since, like I said, I do have my Mammoth Swine, so his Tornadus really doesn't threaten me and my Rotom, since I know he's not Choice Scarfed. But anyways, my Mew's gonna die here to this Breloom. It's fine, it did its job. So I'm gonna go out to my Mammoth Swine, and since I do outspeed, I'm actually gonna go for the Icicle Crash, and not the Ice Shard, just to get some extra damage off on that Fortress if his Fortress does switch in. Or his Politoed, but I figured his Fortress probably would, just because of the fact that his Politoed's gonna be taking some toxic damage and stuff, and he can Rapid Spin away with his Fortress, like he did right there. So I'm just gonna go for the Hydro Pump, just barely gonna kill, or just barely gonna not kill, and he's just gonna go for the Volt Switch. And now I'm gonna decide to sack my Rotom, because my Rotom serves no purpose for me, and I need a safe switch into a Mammoth Swine without taking a hit beforehand. So I'm just gonna leave my Rotom in here to die, and I get a nice chunk off on that Breloom. Now I'm gonna go back to my Mammoth Swine right here, and right here I do make a bit of a misplay. I know I could live a Mach Punch, so that's another thing, because I did see the leftovers, but I went for the Icicle Crash just because I thought he would. But he obviously didn't, since he saw what I did the first time, so that was a misplay on my part. But the good news is I'm able to kill off the Breloom, and I'm able to kill off his Tornadus with another Icicle Crash, but I pretty much could have cleaned up the Latios as well. And it didn't really affect the outcome of the battle. It just would have been like, I'm not going to give any more spoilers out, but it was just a bit of a misplay. But anyways, once again, we're missing a bit of the battle here, so he Death Fodders off his thing as I switch out to my Breloom here, and he's going to bring in his Latios. And I'm going to decide to sack my Breloom because I figure that it really can't do anything to me. I'm not even going to bother going for the Mach Punch. I'm just going to go for the Spore on the odd chance that he doesn't go for the Ice Beam or the HP Fire. So now he goes for the Draco. I know since he does have the Ice Beam, he's most likely an Expert Belted variant. So I know I can live a Draco even with a crit, and I do live the Draco with a crit, so that's good for my Tyranitar, because I'm able to kill off the Latios even without my Mammoth Swine, because Tyranitar is one of the best Latios checks in the game. And even though he technically ends up winning the Weather War, it's too late in the game for anything to matter. So my Latios is just able to fire off the Draco Meteor on his Politoed, and that's going to kill it, and that's going to be the very narrow 1-0 victory in my favor. So, what's the dude's name? Cajukev. Okay, that was a very good game. I'm kind of liking this team, even though it doesn't have Soldo. If I still had Soldo, that would be completely broken, but, you know, whatever, Latios is still doing work, even as an Expert Belted set, because Expert Belt Latios is pretty darn good. But, anyways, guys, I'm gonna call it quits here, and peace.